Okay, this next review is going to be a little bit heavier than usual, for the simple fact of the content of the show. It's another Netflix original pick. How you doing, everybody? This is Ray from Rated R Reviews. Imagine you're a teenager, you're in high school, you're dealing with the regular teenage angst of everyday life. One of your friends passes away as a teenager. Not only did they just pass away, but they committed suicide. They took their own life. You have to deal with now the great and tragic loss of a close personal friend at an extremely young age. A few weeks passes by, you get a package at your front door, you go back to your room, you open up the package, and inside, 7 tapes, side A and side B, on both sides. You get the cassette player, you put it on, you start listening to it, and the voice you hear on it is the voice of your dead friend, telling you, these are the 13 reasons why I decided to kill myself. That premise alone caught me, and I was just like, holy shit, that is some heavy, that is an extremely heavy burden to deal with. They put that pressure on you, and then you can't yell at them, you can't be mad at them because now they're gone. You can't explain yourself or anything like that. Extremely heavy storyline. That is the basic premise of the show 13 Reasons Why on Netflix. First of all, the story is incredibly intriguing. How they go about it, it's very well done, very well crafted. The acting from the cast. Dylan Minnette plays Clay Jensen. He is the main, or he shares the spotlight. He is the main person that you're following, besides the girl named Hannah Baker. That's the character's name. The actress's name is Catherine Langford. Catherine Langford comes from Australia. She's a brand new actress. This is like one of her first acting jobs ever, and she did an incredible job. She plays a 16-year-old, but she's really like 20, 21, something like that. She did an incredible job. Dylan Minnette plays Clay Jensen. He's the one who receives the tapes. He's listening to the tapes. He's going through all this emotional turmoil, and he's just like, what the hell? How the hell? Obviously, there are 13 reasons. So there's at least 13 characters, but there's really about 15 to 20 characters that are surrounding this young girl's decision to kill herself. And when you watch each episode, tape by tape by tape, you're listening to the audio from her voice. You're seeing the storyline as it plays out from her perspective. And then they have these transitions that are so well done. If you watch the show, pay attention to the color palette of the transitions between the stories that they're telling. Because in one storyline, when they're explaining and showing her life, the colors are vibrant. There's a lot of light. It's like almost like a positive thing. Even though negative things are happening, it's like a positive look. The color palette of everything shown is very bright, very colorful from her perspective. While she's explaining her story on the audio tapes, we transition from what he's listening to what actually happened in the past. And then we come back and transition back to him listening to the audio tapes. Whenever it transitions back to him, the colors become muted, duller, and more grays. They're more grays and blues. So that's another part of the storytelling of this show that I was impressed with, because I noticed it after like maybe episode 2 or 3 when they kept going back, and I was like, wait a minute, the color palette changed, and I had to go back to the episode. I was like, oh, that's genius. I didn't realize that before. So yes, so the main character's name is Hannah Baker. We're following her life in her high school days, and how she had her first kiss, and her first kiss became an inappropriate photo that was shared amongst the entire school, and she had to deal with that. Then people started calling her, all these names and everything. After that, she had a best friend, and then that friendship fell apart, and another friend, that friendship fell apart. Then she got involved with another guy, and that guy was just trying to use her because of the first thing. It was really cold, like high school crap that I'm sure has happened to people a billion times over, and they have to deal with it on a regular basis. The premise of everything is kind of creepy, because you have these moments where Dylan's character, Clay Jensen, listening to the tapes, and he just looks up, and then he just sees Hannah standing there. And as he sees Hannah standing there, she's looking aimlessly, because it's almost like her spirit is there, But they're not going the ghostly route. They're not going the haunting route. They're going the he's imagining, he's seeing all of these things as they play out as she speaks about it. So you have situations that go from friendships falling apart to drug abuse to alcoholism to rape to just self-indulgence where you kind of like isolate yourself from the world and you think everyone's against you and you say one thing and expect another, which is kind of sad because a lot of people do that, and I know that from my younger days where you would say and get mad and angry and you yell something at someone and you don't mean it. You're just saying it because you want to hurt them, but you don't really mean it. It's a sad story overall. There are some very good highlighted moments that are funny. There are some very good high school moments where you just start laughing because you kind of remember little things. When I was in high school, I remember little stupid things about the jocks playing and the art kids over here and the photography kids over here and the video kids over here and the cheerleaders. And I remember all that bullshit. It's all freaking bullshit. It's fun for now and it's all going to pass and things are going to get better later. So trust me, it's kind of crazy. And so I'm watching this. They caught a good feel for the negative and the positive. The young man, Dylan Minnette, who plays Clay Jensen, does a fantastic job from going from a weak little kid scared about all these different things to then he's just coming out of his shell, and while listening to the tapes he's getting angrier and angrier and angrier because he's like, I don't understand, why am I on these tapes? I don't get why am I on these tapes. So he finally realizes why he's on those tapes and he understands what he has to do. There's one scene in particular that just hit me hard. Actually, there's several scenes that hit me hard, but there's one scene that kind of just, I was just like, wow, you guys caught it. Was they're alone in the room, Clay Jensen, Hannah Baker, so the main guy and the main girl of the show, and they have like this bit of romance, and they're being intimate with each other and everything. And she stops him because she's kind of flipping out over all the other crap that she went through with other guys because she doesn't trust men now. She doesn't trust him, but yet he's the only one that she can trust in a way. So in the middle of them kind of beginning to have sex and everything, she stops him and pushes him off and says, no, get out, don't touch me, blah, 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 and starts yelling at him. He doesn't understand what he did wrong. He's like, I thought you wanted this. I thought you wanted, to be with me and everything. And she goes, no, get the hell away from me, get out, blah, blah. And she just starts yelling at him. So he leaves. And in the voiceover, in the same scene, she's telling herself, please don't go, please stay here, please just hold me, please just talk to me. If you leave, that's it, it's the end. So, but he doesn't know any of this. He went through all this. He just looks at somebody like, okay, you're yelling at me, cursing me, so I'm gonna walk away then, because I don't understand what I did. He walks out of the room, she stays there, and then they cut back to the scene where he's listening to the tapes, and he goes, what? I remember that happened a year ago. She didn't want this, she didn't want that, blah, blah, blah. And so he got upset about the memory, and then all of a sudden it goes back to the same scene, and he comes into the room and he slams the door and he goes, no, I can't go anywhere, I can't go, I've been thinking about you, I love you, I want to be with you, I dream about you, and this, and he goes off on a whole tangent for at least a good minute and a half about how much he loves this girl, about how much he wants to be with her, and he doesn't care about any stupid rumors that went around. He doesn't care about, and he's like owning up to everything and telling her, yo, I love you, I want to be with you, and you're like this, like, yeah, tell her what the fuck. It's about time you opened up, man. Just tell her, let her know. And the thing that caught me totally off guard, and I mean it hit me as in like you caught the feels. You're like, damn, bro. Is that she turns around while he's like telling her, I love you, I'm in love with you, I want to be with you. She turns around, very beautiful girl, tears in her eyes, and she looks at him dead in the eyes and says, why couldn't you say this when I was alive? Everything fades to black. It cuts back to him listening to the tapes. That moment was so sad. Totally taken back. Totally taken back. Now there are a few moments like that. For me, that was one of the strongest moments that hit. There are a few other moments that are harder than that one to deal with. Especially me being a parent. Is extremely hard to watch and witness and understand how some kids just don't get it. Some people don't understand This is just one part of life. So yeah, 13 Reasons Why on Netflix is a very well acted, well shot. The transitions are so impressive. I can't even mention them enough. How they go from telling the story, from him listening to it, to her acting it, to what was going on with the parents, and they had a very clever way of separating it even more so, not just with the transitions, but early in the show, Clay Jensen, the main character, gets injured and he has a scar on his forehead. So whenever you see the scar on his forehead, or the or a bandage over his forehead, you know he's in present day. When he doesn't have the scar or the bandage, he's in the fantasy, or not the fantasy, but he's in the memory of the dead girl. I have to confess, I binge watched this entire show. It was a good friend of mine named Yvette suggested the show. She's like, I know you review movies, but I know you've done some TV shows and stuff like that, so you gotta watch this one, you gotta see this one. She said she was up to episode 8 when she told me about the show. I waited 2 days and I started watching the show. I literally stood awake from 11 o'clock at night all the way to about 9 o'clock the next morning, 10 o'clock the next morning, and I saw every single episode because I couldn't stop watching it. I just wanted to know what was on the next tape. I wanted to know what was her next reason, and I wanted to know if the ending was gonna be the ending I expected or a twist ending. So 13 Reasons Why on Netflix. I highly recommend it. Anyway, I am Ray from Rated R Reviews. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a nice day.